Picture a scenario that I think is hauntingly familiar for a lot of people right now.
Hmm.
You've worked hard for years. You're smart. You're responsible. You're drawing a decent salary. But there is this low level, background hum of anxiety.
Yeah.
You know that you are essentially one crisis, one unexpected layoff, or one health issue away from the whole thing just toppling over.
It's the high earner, low stability trap. You're moving
Yeah.
fast, but the vehicle is fragile.
Exactly. It feels like money is something that happens to you rather than a tool you actually control. So today on the deep dive, we are stripping that down. We aren't looking at hot stock tips or a quick hack to save on coffee.
No.
We're looking at a comprehensive system designed to fix that specific fragility.
We're moving from a fragile architecture to a stable one. And because we were talking about system architecture, we need to be very, very precise about where this specific blueprint comes from.
Right. We're working with a very specific text today.
We are analyzing the 3 stages, 13 steps to financial independence, developed by Tamir Kaham. Tamir is the originator and architect of this entire strategy. He's also the creator of the YouTube channel, The Golden Path to Financial Independence, and he's the official Hebrew translator of The Richest Man in Babylon. It's this specific blend of modern systems engineering with ancient financial wisdom that makes this approach so powerful.
It's such an unusual intersection, right? You rarely see Babylonian parables and systems engineering used to describe the same framework.
Not at all.
But when you look at the material, it actually fits. It's taking the why from the ancient wisdom and applying the how from engineering.
That's the key. And to set expectations for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Today is about the map. We are going to tell you which index fund to buy or, how to structure your tax returns in this specific conversation.
No, today is the philosophical foundation. If you don't get the terrain, the specific turn-by-turn directions won't save you.
Precisely. If the operating system is buggy, the apps, the investments, the savings accounts, they just won't run properly.
Yeah. So let's look at the operating system designer then. Tamir Kaham. His background is really the lens through which we have to view this whole strategy. He isn't a hedge fund manager.
No, and that's why this resonates so differently. Tamir is a senior systems engineer. He spent his career designing complex fail-safe systems until he was 60. But here is the interesting data point. Until age 45, he had 0 financial education.
45. That's a crucial detail because it totally removes the excuse that you missed the boat if you didn't start at 22.
Right. He was running the standard employee code for decades. Single income, trading time for money. But when he finally encountered financial literature at 45, specifically Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he didn't just get inspired. He put on his engineer hat, looked at his personal finances, and realized he wasn't looking at a lifestyle. He was looking at a broken system design.
He saw bugs in the code.
He saw a system destined for failure. And this leads to the core insight of the Golden Path. Financial instability is not a moral failure. It is a system design problem.
I think that reframing is so vital. We carry so much shame around debt or a lack of savings. We think, I'm just bad with money. But an engineer wouldn't say a collapsed bridge was bad. They'd say the load exceeded the structural capacity.
Exactly. So let's adopt that lens. If your wallet is a machine, you have inputs and outputs. Income is the input subsystem. Expenses are the loads the system has to carry.
And if we follow that logic, then debt isn't just owing money. In mechanical terms, debt has to be friction.
Right. That is the perfect analogy. In engineering, friction creates heat. It is wasted energy. Every dollar you pay in interest is thermal loss. It's energy that bleeds out of the machine without moving the vehicle forward.
And if you have too much friction, the engine overheats.
And seizes.
So what about the fragility we talked about at the top? That feeling that one layoff ruins everything.
That is what engineers call a single point of failure. Imagine a massive bridge held up by one single pillar. Doesn't matter how thick that pillar is. If it cracks, layoff, burnout, illness, the bridge falls.
The whole thing collapses.
The Golden Path strategy is about redundancy. You need multiple pillars so that if one fails, the structure stands.
So we're trying to upgrade the vehicle. The source material compares the typical financial life to a bicycle.
Right. A bicycle is inherently unstable. It only stays upright as long as you are actively pedaling.
Right.
If you lose your job or get sick, gravity takes over immediately.
And you're on the ground.
The goal is to build a car, or, even better, a rocket. Something that has stability independent of your constant physical input.
Okay, so before we get to the rocket construction, we have to talk about the operator, the identity axis. This seems to be the place where most people get stuck.
It is. The strategy is very, very strict here. There is a binary shift that must occur. You have to move from the identity of employee to the identity of asset owner.
The text is really explicit about rejecting the term investor, which I found interesting. Most of us aspire to be investors.
True, but think about the connotation. Investor sounds like an activity. It's something you do on a Tuesday afternoon. You buy a stock, you check the market.
It feels like a hobby or a side quest.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas asset owner sounds like a job description.
A functional role.
It's a functional role in the economy. An employee sells time for money. An asset owner owns systems that generate value. Tamir emphasizes that you can still have a job, but your internal identity must shift. You aren't an employee who dabbles in stocks. You are an asset owner who currently uses a salary to fund acquisitions.
That mental shift has to happen before the bank account changes, doesn't it?
It has to. Tamir made this shift at 45. He didn't have the assets yet, but he changed his operating system. He started treating every dollar of salary not as spending money, but as capital.
And that capital went into building the machine real estate partnerships and even intellectual property, like his translation of The Richest Man in Babylon.
Which generates royalties. It's a small stream, sure, but it's a stream that flows whether he wakes up in the morning or not. That is the definition of an asset in this system.
So that brings us to a definition that trips a lot of people up. We usually treat wealth and financial independence as, synonyms. If I say I want to be wealthy, I usually mean I want to be independent.
Right. But in Tamir's engineering model, treating them as synonyms is a critical system error. They are two completely different states with different physical properties.
Okay, let's break that down. What is the functional difference?
Financial independence, or FI, is the state where your passive income covers your living expenses. That's it. Survival is automated. You are no longer dependent on active work to eat or pay rent.
So you aren't necessarily flying private, but the baseline is secure.
Exactly. The bridge is solid. Wealth, on the other hand, is accumulation far beyond necessity. It is surplus. It is the penthouse.
And the strategic error people make is trying to build the penthouse before the foundation is set.
Precisely. This is the get-rich-quick trap. To achieve wealth fast, people take massive risks. They leverage too high, they gamble on speculative assets, they try to skip the independence phase.
But if you try to build a skyscraper on wet concrete,
the structural integrity fails.
So the golden path mandates: secure the perimeter first, achieve independence. Then and only then do you expand into wealth.
Correct. Safety before luxury.
To visualize how we actually build this, the source material uses the rocket launch analogy. And this isn't just a throwaway metaphor. It tracks the physics of the strategy perfectly.
It does. It breaks the journey down into 3 stages. And we have to start with stage 1, preparing the launch pad. This covers steps 1 and 2.
This is the part everyone wants to skip. It feels passive. It's the pouring concrete phase.
But think about the physics. If you try to launch a rocket from a swamp, from a soft, unstable ground, what happens? The engines ignite, the vibration starts, and the rocket tips over before it even clears the tower.
Because the ground can't take the load.
Exactly. Stage 1 is entirely psychological and foundational. It's that identity shift we talked about. It's defining the vision. You have to solidify the ground, your mindset, your habits, so it can withstand the pressure of what comes next.
Which is stage 2, the launch sequence, steps 3 through 10.
This is where the engines fire.
Oh.
And just like a real rocket launch, this is the most dangerous and energy-intensive part of the mission. You are fighting gravity.
And in this context, gravity is the friction we talked about earlier, your debt.
Gravity is your debt. It's your lifestyle creep. It's the inertia of your old habits. In physics, a rocket burns the vast majority of its fuel just trying to get off the ground and break through the atmosphere.
Right.
In the golden path, this stage is the grind. It's where you aggressively eliminate debt, stabilize cash flow, and build your initial asset base.
It sounds exhausting.
It is work, but it's temporary, because if you maintain the thrust, you reach stage 3, achieving orbit.
Steps 11 and 12.
This is where the physics change. Once a satellite is in orbit, it doesn't need to burn fuel to stay there. It has momentum. It falls around the Earth effortlessly.
So this is financial independence. Your assets, your system, are generating enough momentum to counteract gravity without you pedaling the bike.
Exactly. The struggle stops not because you quit, but because you've changed the environment you're operating in.
That is such a compelling way to view it. It's not about working hard forever. It's about working hard to reach a specific altitude where the physics work in your favor.
That's the goal.
But we have a numbering issue here. We just hit orbit at step 12, but the roadmap is called 13 Steps to Financial Independence. So step 13 seems to sit outside this linear timeline.
It does, and this is where the systems engineering really shines. Step 13 isn't the end. It's a parallel guidance system.
A feedback loop.
Exactly. Step 13 is continuous learning. A rocket doesn't just point and shoot. It has a navigation computer making thousands of micro corrections per second. The wind changes, the air density changes, the fuel weight changes.
And in our case, the market changes, tax laws change, and we change.
Right. The source material references King Solomon here. Wisdom gives life to its owner. We see lottery winners go broke in 3 years. Why? They had the fuel, the money, but they had no guidance system. They crashed the rocket.
But if you have the wisdom, the financial literacy, you can lose all the money and rebuild the system.
Exactly. Step 13 runs alongside stages 1, 2, and 3. It's the navigation computer that keeps the whole thing from drifting off course. It protects the asset.
So to bring this all back to the listener, we've looked at the engineering lens inputs, loads, and friction. We've established the need for the identity shift from employee to asset owner, and we've mapped out the rocket launch from the pad to orbit.
It's a shift from, hoping for luck to designing a machine. We're moving from the fragile bicycle to the stable rocket.
And prioritizing the safety of independence over the vanity of wealth.
That is the crucial takeaway.
Now, before we wrap up this introductory deep dive, we need to be very clear about the legal parameters of this discussion.
Yes, this is a mandatory disclaimer. This content is strictly educational. It is not personalized financial advice. There are no guarantees of results. Success depends on your execution. You are responsible for evaluating what applies to you and consulting qualified professionals, accountants, advisors, lawyers, before making your own decisions.
Absolutely. We are handing you the blueprints, but you have to build the bridge.
And verify the soil conditions.
So the actual work, the pouring of that concrete for the launchpad, that begins in the next deep dive. That will be episode 2, where we cover stage 1, the foundation. We are going to get into the mechanics of that identity shift.
And if you want to see these diagrams, the rocket, the bridge, the system flows, you really should check out the source material directly. There's a full podcast series, Deep Dive Golden Path, and the YouTube channel.
The channel is The Golden Path to Financial Independence. And the handle, pay attention here, is at Tamir Goldpath. That's at Tamir Goldpath.
The visuals really help clarify the engineering concepts.
I want to leave everyone with a final thought to mull over before we meet for episode 2. We talked a lot about mechanics today, but the root cause is internal.
It is. The question you need to ask yourself isn't, how can I make more money? The question is, who are you in relation to money?
Who are you in relation to money?
The answer to that question determines everything.
A powerful place to pause. We'll see you in the next deep dive.
2025, Tamir Kaham. All rights reserved. The Golden Path and the Golden Path to FI are trademarks of Tamir Kaham.